always something. According to evolution, things get better automatically. It don't work for us, Randall, does it?
Nope.
No, we've been trying. Okay. Anyway, tonight, making babies, the Venus flytrap, January 20th. One of the people commented, 2 Corinthians 5 something, that we should do one on the Venus flytrap. Brother, you kept me up all night, okay? Just so you know, you ruined a good night's sleep. I'm stunned. I thought I knew a little bit about the Venus flytrap, but we'll talk about it in a minute. How can you atheists and evolutionists possibly believe these things happen by chance? Anyway, tonight, January 20th, 2023, making babies. We're coming to you live from Genesis Baptist Church at Dinosaur Adventure Land in Lenox, Alabama. There's our little church building. We're back here in the corner, right there in the corner of the church. Kevin built the floor for us. Where'd Kevin go? That's amazing. And it did the whole flooring in here. The center cross is made out of cedar. The rest is made out of oak. It's awesome. Thank you. Good job, brother. Okay. All donated to us, and the pews donated. Help us stay open for free. Join our 777 club. Make any checks to CSEs. I want to help them guys keep winning souls. That's what we're going to do. Anyway, we'd like some help. If you don't help, we're still going to do it. Get our 18-hour seminar, our series on... Randall, how many hours is the Woe series? What on earth is about to happen? Let's figure that up sometime. Yeah, it's a lot of information on what the Bible says about the future. Okay, tonight, the Venus flytrap debate next Wednesday night, another one on the 31st, and 2 of them coming up in February. All you atheists, we're ready. After we're done with Colossians, we're going to go to 1 Thessalonians. So our website's going to be down at midnight for a short time. Is it 2 more days, Randall? Okay, we got to do a lot of maintenance on that. So go to 2peter3.com if you want to shop. By the way, we have several channels you can get our information. Sometimes we get shut down because somebody get their feelings hurt on something. And so go to the other places and watch for us. We're not going to quit preaching. We're just going to get cut off of one channel or another. So tell your friends, if you know any friends that have been watching our channel saying, where's Hovind? Tell them, hey, go to Dinosaur Adventure Land channel. Or where else can they go, Randall?
Dr. Dino.
Dr. Dino, all over the place. Okay. Quick commercial here. Not for quick. We're not going to sell quick. We need a little help at DAL to get rid of stuff we don't need, use, or want, and we need to use the funds to get things to help us focus on the ministry of winning souls. We made an executive decision here about a couple weeks ago. We're going to slowly get rid of some of the equipment and buy Jeeps to use on the tours because they have windows and you can roll them up. And they got heaters. Yeah, that's pretty bad when the visitors come and don't go on the side-by-side. So my second car that I had when I was a kid was a 1969 Toyota Corolla Sprinter. Got 44 miles to the gallon. I loved it. I sold it to pay some bills. Well, I now have a 2003 Honda Insight, a classic. That's my daily driver. Drive it every day. Love it. Okay. Gets 50 miles to the gallon with me driving. If you drive careful, you'd probably get 100. Okay. I'm selling it to get some vehicles for DAL. If you want to get a Honda 2003, that's the kind of stuff we're going to end up with, the Jeep in the background. Very good condition. You can come drive it yourself. I would drive it to California today if I needed to. 4 new tires, $2,800 for the advanced battery pack. We just put in, a month ago. They last about 150,000 miles. There's one for 2724. Anyway, if you don't really drive this car, you kind of wear it. The Toyota would go 0 to 60, maybe. This one goes 0 to, I won't tell you how fast it'll go, but it'll go. Okay. If you want. Anyway, we're asking about $7,000, our best offer. Call Randall, your extension 4, right, Randall? And you get the tech at drdino.com website? Tech support at drdino.com or whackanatheist at gmail.com. Either one will get to Randall. We're going to sell their Can-Am side-by-side. Brand new, those things are $27,000. Ours has the roof, the windshield, all that stuff, and we just sell it and get Jeeps instead. We're going to sell the Kawasaki, what is this one? The Kubota diesel engine, runs great. They brand new, they're $23,000. Randall, you got the prices on our website?
No, UTVoffroad.com.
Say that slower. On what? UTVoffroad.com. Okay, stuff's listed up there. Let's see, the Polaris, we have 2 Polarises. One's getting a couple things fixed on it. We're buying, let's see, we bought this Jeep. That's a 2000 model? For tours and a 1999 model, I think. The red one's a 99. Anyway, our excavator got stuck in the mud 2 months ago. We can't get it out. So we decided before water gets up in the engine and ruins it completely, if you want it, you come get it out, you can have it. You're hoping to sell it as is, where is. We just don't have the equipment, and God didn't call me to dig in the mud. He called me to prepare sermons and preach. So if you want to get that or the Kawasaki, please come get them out. You can have them, all right? The anglerfish we did on making babies. How do the anglerfish make babies? The tardigrade, the honeybee, the watermelon. None of you atheists answered any of these. Where'd you go? Let's see. The starfish, the praying mantis. Let's see. The mud skippers, the beavers, the frogs, the ant, the octopus. Nobody answered them. What happened, Randall? Octopus. Yeah, well, never mind. We'll take my time here. The sponge, you didn't answer that. The barnacle, nobody answered that one. I want scientific answers, step by step. How did this evolve? Well, tonight we're going to do the Venus flytrap. Atheists, good luck with this one, okay? Good luck with any of them. Hi, I'm a Venus flytrap. My creator made me. If you think I evolved from nothing for no reason with no designer, you need to go back to school, learn some real science. Tonight we'll study how Venus flytraps make babies. Now, we sell a kit here at our Dinosaur Adventure Land bookstore. What is it, 15 bucks? If you want to raise your own Venus flytrap. Takes what, 200 years to get them to grow or something like that? All the instructions are in here, how to raise your Venus flytrap. I got an idea a long time ago. How about everybody that loves the Lord, pick a plant or an animal, and you produce a series like I'm doing. Pick one and ask your friends, how did this evolve? Step by step, give me the answer here. They don't have any. Two friends are walking along, and one of them stuttered real badly. And the guy who stuttered said to his friend, hey, did you see the pretty girl? His friend looked around. He said, what pretty girl? He said, well, you look too late. It took you 5 minutes to tell me about it. They walked a little further, and he said, hey, did you see the neat car? He looked around. He said, what neat car? He said, you look too late. He walked a little further, and he said, hey, he said, yeah, I saw it. He said, well, why'd you step in it? Okay. I think every one of these plants one day is going to say to you, atheists, why didn't you believe in God? Did you study real science? Why didn't you believe? You don't have any excuse. There are several varieties of Venus flytraps. They're all considered to be one species. They come a couple different colors and variations about them, but they're considered a Venus flytrap. Okay. I was going to show a little video about it, but we can't get it to work with had a camera problem here and couldn't get it to work. Okay. Venus flytraps are native to this little tiny area of North and South Carolina. That's it. But people spread them all over the world, by taking them and buy one from us in Lenox, Alabama, if you'd like. Okay. But that's where they're native to. They have a phenomenon called thigmotrophism. As soon as it touches something, it wraps around. Vines do that. As vines grow, as soon as they touch a branch, they'll wrap something around it. How did thigmotrophism, response to touch, how did that evolve in a plant? Thigmotrophism. You ever see vines do that? They touch something else and wrap around it. Well, as soon as it touches, there's little chemicals inside that little vine that send signals all over the place that tell it to curve around and wrap around. How did that evolve? Well, the Venus flytrap has those. When little hairs get triggered, it snaps shut, traps the fly. A trophism, a biological phenomena indicating growth or turning movement of a biological organism, usually a plant, in response to an environmental stimulus. Trophisms are usually named for the stimulus involved. For example, phototrophism is a response to sunlight. Photo means light. So they have phototrophism. They will grow toward the light, or if it's a root, they grow away from the light. Trophism. Trophisms occur in 3 steps. First, a sensation to the stimulus. Something has to stimulate it, like when the vine touches another tree, it wraps around it. Next, the signal transduction occurs. And finally, the directional growth response. We're talking about a plant with no brain, okay? I know I had some students like that, okay? Trophisms are typically associated with plants, though not necessarily. Organism capable of directed physical movement, Daisies facing the sun after opening in the morning showing heliotrophism. Helio means light, the sun, okay? So heliotrophic, it grows toward the sun. Roots grow toward the earth. Geo means earth. Geotrophism, roots automatically grow toward the ground. How do they know? Gravity tells them which way to go. So geotrophism affects the root and phototrophism affects the plant. Growth hormones move in the root making the top cells bigger, which turns the root going down. How long did that take to evolve? Let's see. Farmers don't have to worry about which way the seeds are planted. Just toss them in the ground. If you get the seed in upside down, the root will start to grow up and then turn around and come back down. The plant will start to go down and turn around and come back up because of heliotrophism and geotrophism and phototrophism. Let's see. Areotrophism, growth toward or away from a source of oxygen. Chemotrophism, they will grow in response to a chemical. It might make them grow toward the chemical or grow away from it to get away from that thing. There's electrotrophism, response to an electric field. There's exotrophism, the trophism to make it want to grow outward. I got that. Doctor told me to watch my weight, so I'm putting it out front. It's easier to watch out there, okay? Gravitrophism, response to gravity. Heliotrophism, response to helio, the sunlight. Hydrotrophism, hydro means water. They grow toward the water. Okay, let's see. Hygrotrophism, grow toward humidity. Magnetotrophism, it responds to a magnetic field. Phototrophism, they respond to colors of light. Selenotrophism, response to the moon. Yeah, there are some plants that respond to the moon. That thing's 250,000 miles away. The plant don't have a brain or eyes. How do it do it? Let's see. Thermotrophism, response to heat. Thigmotrophism, response to touch. That's what the Venus flytrap has. Traumatrophism, response once they get wounded. The plant will actually have a response to wounded to protect the wound. A plant we're talking about, okay? Venus flytraps catch their food. An insect must trigger a couple hairs before the trap closes upon them. They close in 1/10 of a second, faster than you can blink your eye. The bug goes in there, hits the hair, has to hit it a second time. That way the leaf doesn't close if a stick falls on it. It has to know it's a bug. How did that evolve? See, for millions of years, anything fell on there, a piece of dust, and they fell and used up all their energy opening and closing until they finally figured out, we better wait till it's a bug. Okay, wait till it's a bug. Okay, we got it. And usually it's ants or spiders, actually. They call them a Venus flytrap. They do eat flies, but that's only about 1% of their diet. It's mostly spiders and other critters. So then they form a stomach and secrete juices. After they close, they seal up the leaf and put acid in there to digest the bug. Once they get all the stuff out of the bug they want, they spit the carcass out, open up, get ready for the next one. It might take 12 hours to 5 days to digest or absorb the bug. Then it reopens real slowly and ready for business. It's called a carnivorous plant. Carni means meat, okay? It eats meat, the flies. Carnivorous plants, there's a couple of them. The pitcher plant, the Venus flytrap, I forget, there's 5 or 6 of them. They have specialized features for obtaining nutrition. Specialized features? See, they can never say it was designed by an almighty, all-wise, smart God. They can't say that. These things, they live in that part of North Carolina because it's acid soil. I think they would grow here in our acid soil with the pine needles. I don't know. Might be worth a try, okay? I got other things to do. They have little trigger hairs in there, 3 on each side generally. Some have 4. They have to be triggered twice, and then they snap shut and trap the fly or the spider or the bug, whatever they're eating. Different ways that Venus flytraps can reproduce. How do they make babies? Actually, there are several different ways they can do it. There are a few different ways Venus flytraps can reproduce. One way is by a seed. Like most plants, you plant the seed. I think there's some Venus flytrap seeds in this kit you can buy for $15. Okay. Hard to see. I don't know. Grow one. Okay. Venus flytrap produces small white flowers that turn into seeds. The plant will then self-pollinate, and seeds will grow into new Venus flytraps. Another way Venus flytraps reproduce is by producing offsets, a small clone of the plant. They just grow another flower, break it off, and it becomes a separate plant. Yeah, how long did that take to evolve? Offsets will grow roots and eventually become new Venus flytraps. They produce both sexually and asexually. The flower is kept away from leaves by holding it on a tall stalk, preventing the bees from buzzing around. This species also reproduces a rhizosome. The cycle of life begins with the birth of a child. Venus flytrap plants can live in the wild up to 20 years, according to scientists. Venus flytraps are one of the world's, I think they meant to say coolest plants, okay, in this article. After germination, the flytrap seeds germinate quickly and can be planted within a few days. In the early stages, it can take up to 2 years for a tomato to grow to be 3 to 6 inches tall. That's the baby Venus flytrap. Is that what it says on here, Bobby? About it takes 2 years? Yeah, 2 to 3 years. So buy them now. Get it started. Okay. A Venus flytrap takes about 2 to 4 years to bloom. The plant clusters can grow as large as 10 feet in diameter. It'll be thousands of them in a big, huge clump of Venus flytraps, and shaped like cup-shaped cups. After the flowering period is over, a small black pear-shaped seed is released into the air. Vegetative propagation can be accomplished in 2 ways. It can take up to 2 months for any growth to appear, so be patient. The first noticeable growth will be small twigs. Anyway, Venus flytrap. How long can they live? In a sense, Venus flytraps can live indefinitely or forever, as long as conditions are favorable. Because of the way Venus flytraps grow, each leaf is essentially an independent plant and can form its own root system, which typically shares some connective tissue underground with other older leaves. So they're talking to each other on the internet, the underground internet, okay? As older leaves die, new ones are produced. If the plant is healthy, as this cycle can occur continuously for as long as conditions permit. In addition, Venus flytraps clone themselves by dividing and forming smaller plants, smaller growing crowns and rosettes around the central parent plant. A clone is a genetic replica of the original plant, so it'll be identical twin, and hence the same plant. I grow a clone that's been around since 1955, courtesy of Bob Zemer. It's the oldest clone I know of in cultivation. They can reproduce by growing crowns and rosettes around the central plant, and then each one of those will come off and make a new plant. How did it learn? Could you evolutionists ever start answering the questions? I would like a scientific answer, not a just, oh, well, it works, so it must have evolved. I would say, oh, well, it works, so it must have been designed. Hello? Duh, you moron. Okay. How does the Venus flytrap reproduce? There's articles on that. Come to my parlor. The Venus flytrap not only consumes insects, it needs insects for pollination to make a new generation. In order to attract the insects, the mature Venus flytrap will grow a very long stalk, so the insects won't get accidentally eaten. So they got the flower that closes, and then the stalk way up there with the flower that they want pollinated. On top of these stalks grow white flowers that secrete sweet-smelling chemicals. How did they evolve to do that? See, for a long time, they had the pretty flower, but couldn't attract the bugs because they didn't smell. So they all died. It was sad. For millions of years, they all died. The Venus flytrap has to be several years old before it has enough energy to devote to making flowers and seed. There's a Venus flytrap flower. So they got the flower sticking way up there on top, and the little bitty grains of pollen. I couldn't find out how many pollen grains they produce, but it's into the thousands, each little flower. The insects attracted to the flowers walk over the stamen, that's the male part of the plant, and transfer the pollen to the pistil, that's the female part. Gardeners can fertilize their Venus flytraps by taking a cotton swab, rubbing the fuzzy stamen, and then rubbing the pollen in the pistil. In a few weeks, flowers die, but the fertilized seeds remain. They drop into the soil and grow. So the bug comes along, and he rubs this pollen off on him. He's trying to get to the juice of the flower. He doesn't know he's helping pollinate the plant. There's the pollen up on these little things sticking up. They did a close-up electron image of the pollen grain. Each little pollen grain. Now, guys that believe in evolution, listen to me. Focus, Daniel son. Do you honestly believe this happened by chance? Honestly now. Nobody designed it. You really? Who taught you that anyway? Get your money back, okay? How many chromosomes do Venus flytrap have? Flytrap may have 50 chromosomes. 32 chromosomes in the diploid cell and 16 in the haploid. That still doesn't add up to 50, but it doesn't, close enough, okay? Earth News from BBC. Venus flytrap origins uncovered. Oh, they finally figured out how the Venus flytrap originated. How did it evolve? See, it's not going to get published in BBC unless it glorifies evolution. If it glorifies God, it won't get published. So then you atheists say, well, how come you don't publish in peer-reviewed journals? Duh, think about it. Why don't the anti-communists publish in North Korean papers? Communism doesn't work. Why don't they do that? I wonder how many anti-Nazi articles were published during Hitler's reign over there. Not too many, okay. The origin of the voracious Venus flytrap has been uncovered. They finally figured out what it evolved from. Oh, this ought to be good. Let's see. The flytrap and one other carnivorous snaptrap plant, which grows underwater, evolved from a more conventional relative that had sticky leaves. They just make the statement. Is that giving any science so far? No. It just happened. Oh, okay. It just so. Oh, I see. Over time, the plants added elaborate and weapons, such as trigger hairs and teeth, to trap and immobilize their meaty prey, botanists say. I'm still not seeing any science here, guys. Botanists say, oh, scientist says, oh, you got to just shut off your brain and pay attention. How gullible are you anyway? Gullible. Easily duped or cheated. Gullible. Did you know if you say gullible slowly, it sounds like oranges? How many of you are trying it right now in your head? Come on now, okay? Check out my invisible dragon. Oh, gullible. I see it. Yeah, here. Check out my evidence for evolution. Oh, I see it. Yeah. You're gullible. Gullible if you believe in evolution. Gullible. I'll debate all of you same time. All of you, okay? Ultimately, the need to hunt and eat even larger animals drove the plant's evolution. So what caused it to evolve? It needed it. It needed to eat larger animals. So, hey, if it needs it, it's going to evolve it, right? Man, I need a couple extra arms once in a while. Yeah, okay. Carnivorous plants come in many forms and are known to have independently evolved at least 6 separate times. Gullible. Sounds like oranges. Say it real slow, okay? For example, pitcher plants create tube-like leaf structures, which insects tumble and become trapped. Other plants have sticky surfaces like that of flypaper. Look, guys, I agree this is what they have. You're not telling me how it evolved. Wasn't the title of the article, let's back up here, let's see, gullible. Venus flytrap origins uncovered. So you discovered how it evolved? Really? It's been uncovered. Well, show me. You haven't shown anything yet. Let's keep reading here. But among these plants, 2 stand out, the Venus flytrap and the water wheel plant. Both are known as snap traps because they actively hunt animals, snapping shut specially adapted leaves. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why can't they say designed? Does it ever dawn on you gullible folks that maybe they were designed? No, you're not allowed to say that. I know. You won't graduate from secular school, that's for sure. So they adapted these leaves to trap any hapless creature that crosses them. The Venus flytrap closes around an insect in just 0.3 seconds or faster, while the water wheel uses thin, translucent traps to snare copepods and other aquatic invertebrates. I see. Charles Darwin was so enamored by the striking adaptation. No, guys, he should have been enamored by the way it was designed. Charlie Darwin had thousands of opportunities to realize there's a designer. He studied this stuff. He should have known. He probably did secretly. Right. The speed with which it works, that he described the Venus flytrap as being one of the most wonderful plants in the world. Darwin was fascinated by carnivorous plants in general, and the Venus flytrap in particular. I think partly because they go against type, says Don Walker, a botanist at University of Wisconsin-Madison. In his time and in our time, most of us feel that plants are passive, harmless, and can't move. This flytrap acts like an animal. It moves fast and eats fresh meat. And it wasn't designed. Okay. Elusive origin. Maybe now they're going to same article, BBC, okay? But until now, it has not been clear which plant the Venus flytrap and water wheel evolved from. Isn't there a built-in assumption to that they did evolve? You guys don't see it, do you? You're gullible. Okay, let's see. Waller and his colleague now think they have the answer, and they published in the new journal New Phytologist. What is more, they think it's possible to trace a series of steps that the Venus flytrap and water wheel must have undergone to become accomplished hunters. Wow, here we go, folks. They're going to tell us how it evolved. They started by comparing snap traps with other carnivorous plants, known as sticky traps. Okay. The two leaves look different. While snap traps have gaping leaves, sticky traps have small leaves that are covered by simple stalks, which are often covered with a sticky glue. Okay, how did they evolve? Come on now. Many sticky trap plants belong to the genus Drosera, such as these other ones here. Let's see. The DNA analysis by Ken Cameron of University of Wisconsin confirmed that the Venus flytrap and flywheel are indeed related. And a closest relative both turns out to be a species called Drosera regia. How did it evolve? Then Waller and Gibson mapped out the steps that would have been required to evolve from a sticky trap ancestor to a snap trap. So one of the plants was sticky, and he decided that wasn't enough. Now he's going to snap shut on the bug. Okay, this ought to be good. How did it evolve? Let's see. First, the ancestral plant must have adapted to move its tentacles and leaves in a particular direction, giving it greater chance of sticking to the engulfing the insect. Whoa. What did they just say? Matt, it must have happened because it works. Am I reading this right? Did they give any science here? See, science, guys, what we can observe, study, test, and demonstrate. This is not science. This is fairy tale stuff. It must have evolved. Yeah, okay, keep reading. Next, it sped up how quickly it detected prey and tried to respond. That's not science. That's another fairy tale, isn't it? How do you know it sped up? Well, it goes fast now, so it had to evolve. That's your logic. You are gullible, okay? It sounds like oranges. Say it real slow, okay? Then the plant would have tried to find a way to become selective, so it only trapped a live prey and not any detritus that landed on it. So the plant, it says it evolved. It had to find a way to not snap shut when a stick fell on it. So it must have had it because, after all, it works now. So that trigger hair has to be touched twice within 20 seconds. So the fly's buzzing, climbing around in there, getting the juice. He hits the trigger. He doesn't care. Within 20 seconds, he hits another trigger and snap shut. He's done for. And he can't get out to go tell the rest of the kids, hey, don't go on the Venus flytrap, because he's going to be fly bug juice in a minute here. Okay. Finally, it must have evolved its tentacles into sensory hairs and teeth that detect and wrap around the prey, respectively. Hey, what did they say in here? It must have happened. It must have happened. It had to happen. That's all you guys ever say. I've been asking you for weeks now how these different plants and animals evolved the ability to make babies. And you're going to say, well, it must have happened because they make babies. You are gullible. Let's see. It must have evolved tentacles into sensory hairs and teeth that detect and wrap around the prey, respectively, while also losing its sticky glands. So it had to do the ability to snap and lose the sticky at the same time. That took millions of years. For a long time, they forgot to get rid of the sticky. Snap shut, glued shut, dead. One shot, you're done. Now it works because it can open back up. Not if it had the sticky, it couldn't. So they had to get the trap and lose the sticky at the same time. Had to happen, had to. And growing new digestive glands capable of digesting the victim's corpse. So how did that evolve? Let's see, they just told me right here. It grew new digestive glands. Hovind, what's the problem here? Don't you see it? I don't see it. Does anybody else not see it? I see it. Okay. But that raises the question of what strong selection pressure would have driven the evolution of such an extraordinary series of adaptations. Guys, you didn't describe anything scientifically. You are gullible, okay? Sounds like oranges. Say it real slow, okay? Evolution sounds like gullible too. Yeah, say that real slow. Here's how evolution actually works. You get rejected by the media and you won't get peer reviewed. That's the negative motivation, okay? You won't be allowed to call yourself a scientist unless you believe in evolution. and you get advancements in your career and get rid of God's silly rules for your life. That's the carrot in front of you. I almost said it. Never mind. You mules. Okay, so the Venus flytrap. It germinates the seeds, the little black seeds, turns to a flytrap, grows up, becomes an adult. When it dies, it leaves the seeds behind to do it all again. Now, this is the comment from 2 Corinthians 5:17 that put on my channel. Thank you, and no thank you. You kept me up all night, okay? But you got me started. This is classic. I'm assuming what he said was true in his text here. I did not get a chance to verify all this. But here's what he said. His comment was, the Venus flytrap, something still not explained by evolution. The trap closing mechanism in the Venus flytrap involves a complex interaction between elasticity, turgor, and growth. To help attract prey, the plant's flytrap secretes sugars and other attractants. In the open, untripped state, the trap lobes are convex. They're bent outwards. Then they bend inwards, concave, okay? But concave, bent inwards in the closed state, forming a small cavity. That's where the bug is going to, say his last rites or whatever the bugs do when they're dying, okay? The complex mechanism in biochemistry used to trigger the rapid closing, about 1/10 of a second, is still poorly understood. Still don't know how it happens, huh? But we know it happened. We know it evolved. Yeah, it is known that when the trigger hairs are stimulated, an action potential, mostly involving calcium ions, is generated. A threshold of ion buildup is required for the Venus flytrap to react. To cause rapid closure of their trap walls, hydrogen ions are moved into the individual cells, lowering the pH. This causes them to swell rapidly by allowing water to flow into the cells. On the chemical level, this is stunning. Down at the hinge where the leaves come together is where the water is sucked in quickly by the potential differential of the hydrogen ions, and it snaps it shut. It's the hinge doing the work. How did that evolve? Causes them to swell rapidly, which changes the trap lobe-shaped, resulting in the trap's closure. One extensive Harvard University study of the trapping mechanism concluded the question that motivated Darwin's life's work, namely, how did the mechanism evolve, is still unresolved. So the guys from Harvard spent a lot of grant money on this. They still couldn't figure it out. The study documented that these plants are nature's ultimate hydraulic engineers. He answered and said unto them, I tell you, if these should hold their peace, the stones would cry out. You atheists, the Venus flytraps are going to testify against you at your trial before God. How on earth could you not see the handiwork of God in this? We tried to tell y'all. Tried to tell you. Everything in the universe, from the molecules to the galaxies, cries out, there's a designer. The Venus flytrap will testify against you, atheists, one day. You really believe no one designed this? Are you allowed to stop and think that maybe it didn't evolve? Are you even allowed, or would you lose your job if you stopped and thought that? Come on now, be honest. If you can't marvel at the amazing designs God created and give Him glory, I feel sorry for you. The ferns are going to testify. They're going to cry out Judgment Day. Did you study the fern and how it curls up with the Fibonacci sequence, the golden mean ratio? The lizards are going to testify against you. You really think one cell in a lizard's scale could evolve by chance? You really think there's no designer? The snails are going to be called up to testify against you, atheists. The snails say, God, thank you for making me a snail. I wish you would have made me a little faster, but Lord, I enjoyed life anyway. Yes, Kent, all life forms came about by blind, random chance for no reason. There's no designer. Okay, beam me up, Scotty. There's no trace of intelligent life down here. I feel that way sometimes. The anglerfish are going to testify against you. The tardigrade, the honeybee, the watermelon. Nobody's given an answer yet, have they? Come on, guys. Bring it on. When they knew God, they glorified Him not as God. Neither were thankful, but became vain in their imagination, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Just type in famous atheists. There's a bunch of them. Two friends walking along, one of them stuttered badly. Why didn't you believe him? You claim you study science. Tell me how the Venus flytrap evolved all this stuff to do. Come on now. Tell me how one cell in your body evolved. Give me some science, not just a story. Fool said in his heart, there's no God. Matt, I enjoy debating the atheists. I enjoy giving God glory for the creation, but it breaks my heart to see these people not only rejecting God, but telling others to reject God. They get excited when they destroy some student's faith in the Bible. What's wrong with you? Tell you what. Who on earth put the rubber chicken on his nose? We're going to keep trying to get our science and knock some sense into you morons who believe you came from a rock. We'll keep trying. All of you atheists are invited to come visit Dinosaur Adventure Land. Take the tour. Sit right here next to me. Have a debate on my channel anytime. Anytime. If you don't want to come here, Standing for Truth. I would like you to tell me how the Venus flytrap evolved the ability to make babies and the ability to snap shut on a fly or a spider. Let's hear an answer. Not just, well, it must have happened to work. And here's what's going to happen. They're going to, rather than answer the question, they will shoot the messenger. It's happened all through the Bible. The prophets came to town preaching something they didn't want to hear. Kill that prophet. That's what they're doing to our channel, isn't it, Randall? Yeah. Atheists bombard YouTube. Shut him down. He said something, 18 years ago about this. And
About vitamins.
huh?
About vitamins.
I said something about vitamins.
Yeah.
And they took us off for 2 weeks, gave us a strike, and might take us down permanently. You atheists can't handle the truth, can you? So you attack the messenger. I'm just a messenger boy. Telegram from God. You're going to answer to God one day. Why didn't you listen to the Venus flytrap? Mm-hmm. Why don't you keep your trap shut about evolution and start using your brain instead? Mm-hmm. All right, any questions or comments, Randall? All right, thank you for joining us. Colossians chapter 2, Sunday morning. Come join us, 10:30 church.